Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to today's session of Singh Teaches AI. Today's agenda would be understanding what coding is, how we speak code. In other words, how coding works. I'll start from the very basic. I My intent is to make it as simple as possible. I'll not go by the book. I'll try to explain from the very basic code level thing so that it is easily understandable. Even if you don't understand anything, please feel free to use the comment box. I would help you with your doubts and give clarity wherever I can. I'll start today's session with a description of how we use Python as a language, what basics of Python are. For that, we'll use a tool called Google Colab. So for that, let me share my screen to you all. So the tool that we are going to use today is Google Colab. What Google Colab is, it's a notebook which would help you to write Python codes. Since it's a new uh, agenda we are working on, so we'll use new notebook. Once you click on new notebook, you will see a new screen coming in front of you. So this is another way of doing things using AI. Now here you see, we'll firstly see what things are here. So since I'm imagining that you are freshers, you are school students, or you are new to coding. So this is the file name which would be saved. So it's currently named as untitled 0. We can change it to say basics Python or basics coding, whatever you want. Basics Python 1, because in this session we'll touch base of few things and the series will go on. Every video will have something new for you. You see, after the dot, it is IPYNB. It's just like format of any file. You have .pdf, .txt, .doc. For IPYNB, it says I is interactive. Since it is interactive, it is interacting with us. Whatever we'll throw to it, it will generate an output for us. PY is Python and NB is notebook. So that's what Google Colab is. Now what we'll do, and it is integrated with Gemini as you can see already. The very basic code, whenever we want to print anything, we want any output, say, I'll use print. If it is something, uh, a combination of characters, which we call strings, it would be written in inverted commas. So hello, if I write it, it will take a little time for the first time because it's getting those connections done with Google servers, and then it will reply to us. So it's printing hello for us. Now what this code and text is, code is if you want to code, you will use code. If you want to save something as text, you will use text. So we are not using text, we are using code. So let's use code here. So you saw when I wanted to print a string, I use print in inverted commas, and the output is whatever string was passed. Now, does it do the same with numericals? For numericals, I can use just simple without inverted commas. Once I do it, I'll see the print output is same. And it will every time ask you, do you want to code or text? I'll also show you how you do the text part, but First, I'll clear the basics and then we'll move to how we can prompt. You know what prompting is now, right? How we can use prompting to code. So that's why I say in my classes, you don't need to be a programmer. I'll make you understand the programming concepts and then I'll tell you that you don't need to have those skills. So AI can do anything and it is doing everything. Now, you know the output of strings, you know the output of numericals. What if it is a combination of both? So, what would be an answer if it is print, one is a string, and the other one is just a number? It prints both, just like it does here. So, I separated them with a comma. What else? So, this is when we are talking about strings and numbers generally. Now, what if you want to add certain numbers or you want to subtract certain numbers? You you can't do it directly. You have to make them place in the memory first. So even if you do it manually, if I say 9,000 minus 250, so you have to do calculations while thinking of what 9,000 is and then how 250 is getting minused out of it. There's a place in your mind where you do the calculations. Similarly, here also, you have to store these things in certain places. So what are those places called? We store these values in boxes called variables. So if I want to if I want to have these things stored in some values, those values are called variables. I'll store it as variables, as I already told. Variables is nothing but storage of the values. So why I have used hash? Because hash makes this entire statement as a comment. Now it is not taking it in under the code. Even if I continue writing code, it will not take this hash thing as part of the code. It will just treat it as we have commented something for our understanding. So if I say variable one is say 97, this operation I have done is assignment operation. We call it assignment operation. And you know it will not take this green thing because it's after the hash. Anything after the hash is comment. Now if I say print variable one, now this uh, code will search for what is stored inside variable one and then it will bring the result out. So what is stored in variable one? 97. We cannot do the things as it is. We cannot use anything as a variable. There are certain rules which I will now talk about. What is rule number one for using variable? It says variable name should contain capital A to Z, small a to Z, what else? 0 to 9 and underscore. So we'll discuss more about it once we complete these rule sets. Rule 2 says variable's name should not start with a number. Any variable name should not start with the number. Otherwise, it will treat it as something mind-boggling. It will not take it as a variable. Rather, it will think that my human friend has got confused. Variable names are case sensitive. How they are, we'll see. Rule number 4 is they are case sensitive. It should not be a keyword. Variable name should not be a keyword. You cannot use sum or add or subtract or something like that as a variable name. Now, talking about rule number 1, variable name should contain these things. What if I am using, say, variable instead of 1, I'm using exclamation is equal to 97, then print variable exclamation. Again, it will think my human has got mad. It is a syntax error. So what if I replace this exclamation mark with underscore? As we have already studied in rule number 1, it will show 97, which is stored under variable. And you can use anything out of these things. Next rule says, print variable name should not start with number. So I cannot say 97 variable is equal to 97 and then 97. So will this give me anything? It will again say syntax error. You cannot start it with a number. So what I'll do, change it back. I change it to something which is accepted as per rule number 2. So now I'm getting 97 again. Variable name are case sensitive. So now I cannot say that here it is smaller variable 197 and then I say provide me variable with V capital. So you know the difference. It's smaller v, starting with smaller v. Here it's a new variable. It's not the same variable because that was starting with small v. Now it will treat it as a new variable. That's why syntax error is not defined. Either change this one to capital V or change this to small v. Will it run now? Exactly, because variable names are case sensitive. Now they both are same. Similarly, they should not be a keyword. You cannot use variable names as sum, add, subtract, divide, minus, and all those stuff. Next, we'll be talking about what are the types of data or data types. I'll use another space. So I'm talking about data types, which are nothing but types of data. And when we talk about data types or types of data, there are few types. I know you might be knowing it. You might be answering it in your mind that, okay, we know it, what he's talking about. So one is integer. What else? Integer, float. What else? Strings. String you already know now. And another one is Boolean. If the statement is true, it will show true. If the statement is false, it will stay false. So taking an example where variable 1 is, say, 97, variable 2 is 97.0, variable 3 is strings. It is 97 in inverted commas, and then is Boolean, which is variable 4. is either true or false. Let's have it as true this one in this case. Now, if I want to print, so integer, they start from uh, integers are minus infinity to plus infinity, any number. Float, they have those decimal part also. So if you want to write any number in float part, say it is 5, so in float it would be 5.0, and so on. So if I want to know, these are the numbers. If I want to know not just their what is stored in variable part, what is stored in the box, I also want to know about their type. So what I will do, print, first of all, print variable 1, print. Now what I will do, I will print the type of this variable. So not just printing the variable, but its type. Mind the nomenclature that we are using. All right, I have to run it. Let's run it. Syntax error, invalid syntax. Did I do something wrong here? Provided variable 1 as 97. Print type. What we have done wrong? Variable 1 is there. Type variable 1. That's closed. So anyone else who could say it's also already showing. So the answer is here it's taking float as something not as a comment, but something inside the code. So what I will do, let's not use float as number, but as a comment. Similarly for others, should have done this in the first place. So all of these are comments so that it doesn't confuse it that type is already there. So now let's see type variable. Okay, so perhaps you forgot a comma. So let's see if we are good till variable 1. Yes, we are good till variable 1. Now print, and it also helps you. If you see, it is helping you with what you want. Type, type of what? Type of variable 1. So you have used the wrong brackets. Use these brackets. The error that we were getting here is due to the use of wrong brackets. So type variable 1, close the bracket. It says 97, which is the value of variable 1 stored in variable 1, and the type is integers. Similarly, if you change it to variable 2, type of variable 2, it will show you float. Change it to variable third. And what is the type of variable 3? It is string. Now, variable 4, similarly for variable 4, it's suggesting why don't you use variable 4 here too? Yes. And now Boolean. So uh, this much for this class. Uh, that's what I had for us to learn in this class. I thank you for your time and patience. And till we meet again in our next class, the agenda is still something mathematical which we are learning from the scratch. So stay tuned till we meet again. You can reach me out singteachesai@gmail.com. Thanks a lot. Till we see us again. Take care. Bye bye.